There was a morning I was sitting at my kitchen table and I couldn't move. Not that I wouldn't, I physically couldn't. Like my body already knew something my mind was still catching up to. That everything I had built, everything I had told myself I was working toward was gone. I didn't lose it all at once. That's what people don't understand. It happened slowly, then all at once. A bad call here, a relationship I had burned there, pride that cost more than I could afford. And somewhere in the middle of all of it, I stopped being honest. With the people around me and with myself. Some of those mistakes had come attached to them with names. People I let down. People who deserved better. Those are the ones that don't have a price tag. And those are the ones that stay. You know what rock bottom actually feels like? It feels like everyone else got the manual and you lost yours somewhere along the way. It feels like shame so heavy you don't want to get out of bed, not because you're lazy, because you're terrified that if you move, if you actually face the day, you'll have to face yourself. And you're not sure you can handle what you see. The world kept going. That's the cruelest part. Nobody pressed pause for me. No moment of silence for the life I was grieving. And I remember thinking, I need something. I don't know what, and I don't know how, but something has to change. Or I don't know what comes next. And that scared me more than anything. I stumbled into crypto, the way you stumble into anything when you're desperate and out of options. Now but strategy, now but savings, with $47 in a prayer. I wasn't looking for a portfolio. I wasn't looking for passive income or financial freedom or any of the language people use when they've actually never been broke. I was looking for proof. Proof that something in this world could still work out for someone like me. And what happened next changed everything. Not because I got rich, because I got honest. The market doesn't know your name. It doesn't know what you did, who you hurt, who you owe. It doesn't know your race. It doesn't know your gender. It doesn't know what zip code you grew up in or what doors were closed in your face before you even had a chance to knock. The blockchain has never once looked at you and decided you were less. Every single trade starts with zero. Every single day is a blank chart. And for a person who has spent a lifetime being told in ways loud and quiet that the table wasn't set for them, that felt like more than oxygen. That felt like freedom. For the first time in years, I could breathe. And I started asking myself, if the market can reset, why can't I? If a coin that crashed can climb back up, why not me? I lost money, real money, money I couldn't afford to lose. I made mistakes I swore I wouldn't make. I chased, I panic sold. I trusted wrong voices. Sound familiar? Because the market didn't teach me about crypto. The market taught me about me. The market taught me all about myself. Every red candle was a mirror. Every recovery was a choice. And slowly, I started choosing different. Not just with my portfolio, but with my life. Growth saved me. Accountability saved me. The mistakes were never the end of the story. They were the story. I don't know where you are right now. Maybe you're in that 3 a.m. ceiling staring moment. Maybe you just made a decision you can't undo, or you feel like you can't. Maybe you've been carrying something so long you forgot what it felt like to put it down. I see you. I was you. I am you. And I'm here to tell you, not from a place of perfection, not with all the answers, but from the other side of some very real, very ugly, very human mistakes. You are not done. The bottom is not the end. It is just the beginning of the most important chapter you'll ever write. Welcome to the Comeback Currency. This podcast today is all about humans. It's all about us, how we all have the same things in common. And it's, really about the things we lose, but we figure out what we're worth. And the people who found their way back. And I'm one of them. And you might be one of them too. Zebec Nation. Let's go.
Turn it up. Zebec Nation.
Zebec Nation, tap in, lock in. I'm on deck, all signal, no distortion. Hot news, breaking cultural started from protocol to the population compliance coordinated. Talk fast, think faster, headlines detonate, builders, whales, insiders resonate. No filler, no filter, no scripted fabrication. Real-time execution, verified information. Payroll to power, global circulation. Deep dives, lifelines, market calibration.
Base. Zebec.
Nation.
You want the pulse?
You're tuned in.
Zebec Nation.
Success is not final, and failure is not fatal. It's the courage to continue that counts the most. I'm your host, ZBCN Man. Welcome to the Zebec Nation podcast, your home for everything Zebec Network, ZBCN, crypto news, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about. Joined this week by an incredible group of guys, incredible group of guys. First and foremost, I've got Crypto Star Rail, one of our hosts, back with us again. Mr. Foresight back in the house again as well. Zebec United. Zebec Heavy Hitter 360 back in the house. Who else do we have? We got Zebec Samurai back with us again as well, the producer extraordinaire. That's what we're about. How's it going, XRP Dad?
Good, man. How about you guys? Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, man. We're glad that you're here. We wanted to bring you on because, like I said, we're trying to bridge communities together. That's what we're about with Zebec Nation. As you see, we got guys from YouTube all over the place. We're YouTube. We got guys doing all kinds of stuff everywhere. And we just want to show love to the crypto community. Without further ado, let's get started with XRP Dad, and tell us a little bit about yourself, man, and your background.
Well, I'm 36 years old. I live in Pennsylvania, and I had a rough upcoming. I have 4 felonies. I was in 9th grade for 4 years, and until I dropped out, I was getting Social Security checks for when my dad passed away until I was like 19 years old and still in school. So whenever I was able to, I signed myself out. And whenever I was 15, I lost my dad because he got ripped off for some drugs. So he ended up getting pissed off and he went down and kicked the dude's door in. And nobody was there, so he came out, and the cops were already there. So they arrested him. It was rolled as suicide, but there were some suspicious things that went on, and my family didn't really pursue charges. So I ended up going off rock bottom at that point, and that I ended up starting like a huge criminal career, and just started hanging out with the wrong people, and the same people that did that to my dad kept their jobs. So they took me to jail like eight different times. The same people who did that. And then I didn't talk to my mom for 10 years. And whenever I decided to, it was more like a friendship. And whenever I was at work, I was having her hustle my drugs because I was hustling a little bit back then. And the CI got her for the charge too. So she sold to an undercover cop, and we both went to jail. And I took an extra year in jail to get her charges dropped. And then whenever I got out, I met my woman. I still I still hustled for a little bit longer, and then I met my woman and had my kid, and I definitely had some type of huge spiritual awakening. because I did like a huge 360. I feel like I was having supernatural events happen to me and everything. I was at the Trump shooting, and I watched him dodge the bullet, and I watched the flag tangle up like the crucifix right before it happened, and just like I ended up ever since I started paying attention to politics and the Trump movement, my life got a lot better because I just started going to Trump rallies. I got close to God. I started. I didn't start out with crypto because I wasn't a fan of the digital, and so I started out with silver and gold because I knew I just from my study and I knew crypto was like a big thing, but I also knew we were going to the gold standard, so I just played it safe and bought gold and silver. And once Trump got in, and he started calling himself the crypto president, and he's going to make America the crypto capital of the world. I already knew about XRP, and I sold all my gold and bought XRP.
So
Now I'm here.
my question:
Super.
when was the first time you heard about XRP, and who told you about XRP?
Um, one of my favorite influencers back then, whenever I first started buying the silver, because he always connected silver and crypto together, but Echo. You guys know that Echo dude? He has like 100 something thousand. But that's who actually got me hip to it back probably 5 years ago.
It's awesome, man. I'm that's great. So
Now I'm super excited.
yeah,
I
absolutely.
def
I think we
I
all
de-
are.
I think it definitely hit for some supernatural stuff. Like uh you guys watch that Jake Claver?
Yeah.
Like his domino theory? It seems like that's pretty accurate, so and he's hitting for big numbers.
Yeah, I've heard that domino theory too, but the reverse carry trade and all that with Japan and all that kind
Yeah,
of
it
stuff.
really sounds like we're about here.
Yeah. I think with everything that's happening, anybody can kind of jump in anywhere you want to, but I believe that that's where we're headed to. You can see it in crypto in general, and you can see that we've known for a long time with inflation and just the reality that the fiat dollar is definitely not worth as much as it used to be. I mean, that's why I try to tell people all the time. It's like the reason why things cost more is because your dollar has been devalued, not because it costs more to produce the milk. It's just that your dollar doesn't go as far anymore, and it's tough to get people to understand that. Right? Anybody have any questions for XRP Dad?
Yeah, I guess I'll go first on this one. It's the same one that I ask everybody who comes on here. What advice do you have for people who are just getting into the crypto world right now?
Get ready to be patient for at least 5 years. Don't expect to unless you're throwing in like a whole large amount like right now. Don't expect to get rich because I I I was let down 100 times since I started investing. Like to be honest, this is like almost ruining my family. I'm relying on this wealth transfer uh to fix my family because I look at it from my woman's shoes and I got like 4 felonies and I dropped out of high school and then you got me running around talking about like, dude, we're gonna retire. So it sounds like a fairy tale. So I understand that. But I know it's not worth giving up because I know we're like literally right at the door. Like I honestly think it could happen tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are waiting on that. That's kind of like the hope we've all been sold, that everything's going to switch over, and it will. It's taking time, obviously, because institutional money is coming in, and they're doing all they can to ensure that they can get as much as they can before we do get to those points, right? But I think everyone has a story similar to yours in some way, shape, or form, right? Like
Yeah.
um, for me, and I'll just kind of go first, but and then anyone else could ask a question. But I come from a similar background. You know, you're not taught how to save money. You're not taught how to invest money, And it kind of goes into the intro to this podcast that everyone will see. You know, the blockchain doesn't care about your gender, doesn't care about your credit score, doesn't care about any of that stuff at all. It's just what it is, and which makes it great because it kind of puts us all on that level playing field, that same level playing field that Brad Garlinghouse was talking about, and I know you know about that, XRP Dad. So that for me is the reason why I love crypto. One, because I know where it's going as an investor. I believe in the project that I'm invested in, and just knowing that I know that there's a change coming.
I can relate to that. I can definitely relate to that. You know, coming from a background where I came from, the rough sides of Detroit, Michigan, you know, I've been through it. I was single parent household. My uncle was a big drug dealer. I've been through a lot. I've seen a lot. I've been held at gunpoint, not knowing if I was going to live or die by morning and by the next day. And it's one of those things, and I'm sure everybody right here can relate with this. You know, I believe that everybody has a dream. Like, yeah, I want the big house with the picket fence. I want this and I want that, but they don't necessarily know how they're going to get there. I was one of those people, you know, with everything I had been through in my past. I knew I wanted certain things. I just didn't know how I was going to get there. And I tried many different directions, and crypto just happened to be that one where it's fair game. Meaning you can get in like ZBCN man was saying, the blockchain doesn't care who you are, what you look like. So if you get in at the right time and you play your cards right, it's one of those things where, like, you're waiting for an XRP dad. Like you said, anything can happen. It could happen tomorrow. You wouldn't be surprised. But unless you're in this game, it's not going to happen for you. So I like the crypto space in general because of that. Because it's fair. It's fair to anybody who's willing to do their homework. It's fair to anybody who's willing to I ain't gonna say go all in, but willing to take a chance on yourself, because ultimately that's what you're banking on. You're banking on your belief in this new technology. And if you're watching what's going on in the world right now, especially with the war and the devalue of the dollar, then you know all these roads can only lead to one place, and that's blockchain.
Anybody else have
I,
any
I
thoughts on
believe I believe if a lot of people I talk to, they act like they know there's life changing money, but if everybody knew, then everybody would do crypto, but nobody does it. Everybody's afraid of crypto in my town.
So redemption, right? Tonight is all about redemption, and it's something you've experienced in your life, being in the gutter, so to speak, being to where you are now with a lot of hope, because it's hard to see that hope where you're in a place where it's very dark. Hope is definitely difficult to see in dark places, but redemption brings us all back to that, and that hope is what we pray gets us to that level that we want to get to, and whatever that may mean, right? Everyone has a different level of what they see as wealth. For some people, it's $100,000 just to get out of debt. For other people, it's millions of dollars so they could change other people's lives in the process. So that's definitely different for every person. But what I'm getting at here is I know of two people for sure that we have on this panel that have experienced cycles in crypto. And you sound like you're a newer person in crypto, much like myself, much like some other people that are part of Zebec Nation. Mr. Foresight, he has seen firsthand and experienced a great deal of, appreciation in price on projects that he's invested in. But Crypto Star Rail has too, and he was part of the last cycle. And so, Star Rail, could you tell us a little bit about the last cycle and how it was for you, especially coming out of the background you came from, right?
Just clearing my throat. Well, yeah, in the last podcast episode, I said my first purchase was XRP when I was 19, right? And I was always good with money. I didn't have a lot of money, but I was good at saving money. And I was thinking, well, what could I do with that money? I could save it, right? But I didn't really trust the banks because, as we know, when we put money in the banks, they loan the money out, and whatever we put in, they can earn about 8 to 9 times the amount. So that isn't like freedom to me, and crypto is more like personal, because I think we're all here for the right reasons. We're all here for financial freedom. But going back to the question, I've seen a lot of things, right? And crypto has matured. At the time when I was in XRP, crypto regulation was a very gray area. No one really trusted it. I was there when the SEC sued Ripple at the time, and I was hearing all the stories as well. I was watching a lot of XRP YouTubers, Bearable Bull, like Kevin Cage, Crypto Airy, and at the time, I saw the stories of 2017, and I was like, oh man, if XRP could get to like $3-4 back then, I actually believe what these guys are saying, because when I first purchased, it was around like 15, 19 cents. And then I saw it go to like $1.50, which was insane to me, right? But the thing is, right, there's the crypto markets run on a narrative, right? So back then there was a huge DeFi boom, like Ethereum went crazy. NFTs was a big thing. Gaming was a big thing as well, like Gala Games. And we've seen like other narratives, like in like 2024, like memes, like Pepe, like Solana, Pump Fund, AI. I guess like AI agents, privacy, and I've been saying it, and like Mr. Foresight's been saying it. I think like I like projects with like real like utility. Like I said, I started with XRP. I like Zebec. I like Canton. I used to like Tau. I used to like Casper. But there's something in common. I like the infrastructure and the real use case. So going back to what I've learned is that the market's like a narrative. And this is why I'm so big on like Zebec, I guess like XRP, Canton, and all the others, because I do think that now we are going from less of this speculative age to more of like, where can this market go? Like, what's the real use case? And it's different because we've got ETFs now. We've got all the institutions, like XRP Dad said. We've got BlackRock. There's no surprise Wall Street's here. We've got the banks. We've got politicians like Trump. Hey, we've even got like politicians making their own meme coins, right? But like experiencing the last cycle, it's a lot of patience, like what we're seeing now, because I've experienced the bear market in 2022. It was brutal, but I do believe that the way everything's matured, like it's the law of diminishing returns, right? So it gets harder and harder to go up. But I also think it's the law of diminishing losses as well. So what we're experiencing now, I know we have some fears of like, the Middle East. Where can this go? I've been around since like crash. I've seen FTX collapse. I've seen Luna crash, and we've experienced like liquidation events way worse than that. So I'm thinking there is light at the end of the tunnel, guys. All you have to do is just keep believing in what you believe in, do your research, and light does come out at the end of the tunnel. So, I mean, my best advice is just DCA, believe in what you believe in. And most people who fail in life usually quit. I'd say about 90% of people would quit before they even try. And the people that are still holding, because at times, with XRP back then, it took about a year and a half for it to even move, right? They were saying the same things for a lot of our tokens, like, oh, it's a stable coin, it's never going to do this, it's never going to do that. And we had the SEC suppression as well. And like XRP was underperforming compared to like ETH with the DeFi boom and NFTs and gaming and all that. But like I said, I do think we are moving into a different age, which is the utility cycle. I heard that last time in 2021, but we didn't expect like all the memes and all that. But I think with stuff like, the Genius Act and like the Clarity Act being signed and all of the manipulation of all like the market makers and the exchanges, I do think, when there's more regulation on the way, that's when institutions, because institutions don't like they don't like uncertainty, right? We all have a bad rep with crypto, like all the scams and everything else. But I think like when there's a green light on the regulation, I do think that's when the institutions and businesses will be like more open about using crypto in the real world. And I think that's what we're seeing right now. But I hope that kind of answers your question.
Absolutely. Well, kind of what you were talking about there, and I'm going to ask Devin his thoughts on this, but you mentioned the Clarity Act. And it's kind of like the thing that we're all waiting on as far as crypto is concerned. At least we think that. I think there's more to it than just clarity, but I'm hearing that the markup could come this week. Are you hearing about this too, Devin?
I hear different things, but I take it with a grain of salt because we've heard this how many times already? Oh, it's supposed to be this week. No, the can gets kicked down the road more and more. The only thing that I would probably put my neck out on the line for is I would say that if it's not passed before the midterm elections, I don't think it's going to get passed during this president cycle.
So what do you think happens if we don't get it passed this time? Which I'm a believer that it does get passed still, only because we've talked about this many, many times. But it kind of almost has to be passed, I believe, by November anyway. But what do you think happens if it doesn't? Do you think the markets just go stale? Anybody?
No, before you go there, you say if it doesn't get passed, you said you don't think it will get passed during this president's cycle?
Yes, and the reason being is because, and again, I'm not trying to get political. This is just my belief, is that I believe right now, based upon current events and based upon the sentiment around the country, that the Republicans will not have the majority that they have currently. And that's why I say it this way.
That's scary.
So, and I'm not trying to turn this into a political debate or anything like that. I'm just looking at it this way, and I'm trying to make a logical opinion about it.
No, I think you have to do that though. You have to, and that comes with investing in crypto. You have to take the good with the bad, but you have to be realistic. And I just think what you're saying right now is a realistic approach. That this is a possibility. We may not want to hear it, but it is a possibility.
Truth is truth. Did you have another thought, Mr. Forsyth?
I did. I will say this though. On the positive side of that, I believe that if the Clarity Act does go through soon, I honestly, and I've been thinking about this, I honestly believe that we're looking at a crazy bull cycle, because I look at everything that's going on, and that's the one thing. That is the one thing holding us up. I believe just based on the news, people don't even understand why we even need the Clarity Act. It's people out there, they'll tell you in a minute, I'm waiting on the Clarity Act, and they may not even understand it. So I believe just it going through alone is going to have people picking up their phones and making trades. Just making trades. I don't know how high crypto will go, but I'll say that is it. That will be okay, fire the guns off. Crypto is in business. So I'm hoping really that we hear something this week. I'm hoping we hear something this week. I don't see why we wouldn't, but then again, I don't have a crypto ball, so I don't know. But I really hope we do, because I believe just when it comes to stocks, when it comes to crypto, it's news-based. Everything is based around news. If it's good news, it's going up. If it's bad news, it's going down. We saw what just happened with Tao. It's the same thing with this. The Clarity Act is the one thing that I think will send us off the charts.
Sorry, I wanted to add something. Sorry, Samurai, did you want to talk?
You go first.
Okay. I was gonna say, I was gonna add something. In the last cycle I've had, and in 2017, we had an altcoin season, right? And like I said, things have matured and things have changed. And I think there's a lot of things that like people don't mention for some reason, that the market is very diluted compared to before, because I think in 2017, there was about like 750 cryptos. And in like 2021, there's about, 15,000. But now we've got like 30 to 40 million. And you could thank Pomp Fund for that, because I don't know how much cryptos they're making a day. I think I want to say a number, but hopefully I'm wrong with this, like maybe 30 to 50,000 coins every day, right? Probably way more than that now. And so with the traditional, because I watch Benjamin Cowen, he thinks we're still following the 4-year cycle, and he thinks that there is not going to be an altcoin season this cycle, and Bitcoin is going to probably go down another like 30%. And he is a bit optimistic on altcoins as well, but he says like it's going to be near the end of the year, like Q4. And I could kind of agree with that, because like I said, the things that has changed is that technically Bitcoin has had the bull cycle, but the altcoins never had a euphoria cycle. So like the game has kind of changed in a way. And that's probably because of, the institutions, BlackRock, Wall Street. I like this quote as well. I always say this out loud to myself. Well, I say the house always wins, right? You could kind of relate that crypto kind of is a casino. And I love playing video games. One of my favorite games is Fallout New Vegas, and I learned this quite young, right? And then in Fallout New Vegas, you go to Vegas, and of course you gamble, and when you win, right, the manager comes over and gives you a drink, goes like, "Oh, well done, like keep going," and then like when you win again, the manager's like, okay, like congratulations, but and then you win again, and then the manager kicks you out. And I was thinking, why does he kick you out? Like, I thought in the casinos they want to make you win, right? But that's when I heard that quote, the house always wins. Like the casinos don't want to make you win. And it's kind of the same in crypto, because another event that happened was GameStop. Okay, like lots and lots of money, like hedge funds were shorting GameStop, and then a group of Redditors, they were called Wall Street Bets, they longed GameStop, and they were making tons of money at the time and liquidating all the hedge funds, right? And what happened was, on the same day, I think, Robinhood halted trading. So, like, people were making tons of money, but they couldn't trade, they couldn't sell it. So when the script flips, the institutions are going to make sure they always win. So I think a lot of the a lot of the hype has kind of died down now, and a lot of the people in crypto are more like traders than like holders, and it's because like it's kind of changed. But like I said, I still think that there's light at the end of the tunnel. We just need to play our cards a bit differently, right? And I do think, like, with the ETFs, and like, DTCC wants to tokenize real world assets. Wall Street, BlackRock's here. Grayscale is buying lots of Bitcoin. Michael Saylor is buying lots of Bitcoin as well. There's still people here in this game. So that's the one thing I wanted to point out, that it's just people don't talk about the dilution, and I think that's kind of affected the market, because I do think like stuff like ZBCN should have been over 10 cents by now, but the liquidity's fragmented. We've got too many layer twos. Even Vitalik isn't really like bullish on his own Ethereum layer twos. He's dumping Ethereum every
Go
month,
figure.
billions and stuff. And I do think like it's gonna be a selective amount of coins that will have like the market share, but we will see, right? Like I said, I'm still optimistic, and I'm very optimistic of like the utility coins because I think that's what the institutions would more likely buy.
Yeah, absolutely. Samurai, did you have something you want to add?
Well, I kind of lost my train of thought listening to Star Rail waffle over there about Fallout New Vegas, but um, yeah, you need to have a luck stat of 10 to ruin the casino and get kicked out. Anyway.
Gaming later.
Yeah, I have like hundreds of hours in Fallout New Vegas. I love that game.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I'm saying I said I'm sorry. That's all. I'm just hating.
Anyway, gosh, it was important. It was so important too. It was so good. Thanks, Starreal.
Thanks, Darrell. So
Yeah.
XRP Dad. So what are you? So on XRP, when did you actually get in XRP, and where do you think it's going to? And give your honest opinion on where do you think it's going. Like, give me a end of year, and then give me a 2030. Since Throbbing Lantern's not here, I need to know what you think you see out of XRP as far as price goes.
Well, I'm looking at all these like big events around the world and like with like Japan and Iraq, and I really think the simple fact that they labeled XRP a commodity, they're gonna just reprice it. So because Trump's getting rid of currency manipulation, and if we're going through a great reset, if the world's going through a great global financial reset, in my mind, I don't think he's going to bring the $39 trillion debt. So I really do believe he's going to get this debt cleared off by July. So I also believe in the price before law. So, but it also seems like everything's going down to the last minute. So I also think we're going to see some shit go down over here, like an attack on the financial system that gets us into it at the same time as Iraq revalues the dinar. And in my opinion, we're going to XRP will skip over double digits. I think it will get repriced at 150. And because from what Jake Klaver was saying, and from a lot of people, XRP has to be a high price for the transactions to work right on a global scale. I'm not really good with all that, but so in my opinion, I think it will be like 1,000 by July 4th.
Really?
Yeah, for America's birthday. I think he's gonna. I think they're gonna end up introducing gold back notes and everything.
No, I was gonna also say that I like where you're going with that. I'm one of those people that's always saying our 4-year cycle is gone. I always say it's gone. The reason I say it's always gone is because I believe with this whole reset and everything, I just don't think it's advantageous. The 4-year cycle isn't advantageous, I don't believe, to the institutions. I just don't believe that with everything that's going on with Michael Saylor and all of them snatching up the amounts of Bitcoin that they're snatching up. I believe at one point, Bitcoin did have a mind of its own, and it was kind of autonomous to everything around it. But I believe these institutions are now snatching it up, and I just can't see it. I can't see it, especially with a great reset. I really believe they need kind of crypto to behave like stock markets, almost damn near predictable. That's why I just don't see our 4-year cycle. I don't see it sticking around. And that would also mean that some of the altcoins kind of decouple themselves from Bitcoin itself.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe with the reset, this brings us back to the Zebecs. It brings us back to the XRPs. It brings us back to Cardano and all of them. I almost believe that they have to decouple. That's just my take, my 2 cents.
Hey, Heavy, your thoughts on this too, man. So, like, wouldn't you say that, in your opinion, let's say you get an XRP that jumps up to 1,000, like XRP Dad is saying, wouldn't that in turn mean that a lot of other cryptos would follow suit, right? So like a $1,000 XRP would definitely lead to at least $1 ZBCN, you would think, especially
Yeah,
with the
I think it
utility.
would actually be more than $1. I mean, if we're talking $1,000 XRP, right? Yeah, I mean, as far as Mr. Foresight was saying, the 4-year cycles are definitely out the window. It's just it's a totally different market now. I think early crypto, we were talking, things were being developed, right? And the money, I guess, wasn't quite moving through these projects yet because they were still being developed and they weren't deployed. Now this stuff is starting to get deployed, implemented, where it's going to be going and what it's going to be doing, and a lot of these things are going to start having money flowing through them. So the 4-year cycle. I mean, I just got into crypto last year, so I'm still fairly new myself, but from what I've seen since I've been here, and talking to well experienced people like we got here on the cast here, um, you know, the 4-year cycle is done, and it's just it's a different playing field now. So and especially ZBCN in particular being fully distributed out there. That's definitely a whole different game. Being deflationary now, and with all that stuff. So, yeah.
I think you hit on an excellent point, Heavy. A lot of people don't realize that, but when they're into these tokens, a lot of them aren't even in deflationary zones yet.
Yeah, and
They're
especially
still
like there's only a couple that are like fully distributed or like pretty close, and those for sure will definitely be I guess I would say it would be faster to decouple from Bitcoin than what I'm saying than some of the other ones. So I mean that just puts it on a whole different playing field.
That's an excellent point. That's an excellent point. Thank you for that one, Heavy. Devin, what are your thoughts on that too, as far as if price action with one coin like an XRP, especially whenever we know that we have a partnership coming between Ripple and Zebec Network. If we have an XRP that appreciates in price that way, wouldn't that mean like ZBCN obviously would move up too, especially being deflationary?
It would, in my opinion, and it's also when you think about how we are pretty much providing the rails for it to work, it would only make sense for that to go up as well too. But I think at the beginning of next month, after our XRP Vegas, we can come back on this conversation once we have confirmed partnerships, I should
Yeah,
say.
I agree with you there, United. I definitely agree with you on that one.
Not to mention, say we did get $1,000 XRP. I believe with everything the way it's changing, you
Mm.
got gold as a store of value, you got Bitcoin as a store of value. I believe that a lot of people, if we did get $1,000 XRP, I mean, a lot of people would go out and buy some Bitcoin as a store of value, as that gold. And if they got any sense, they buy some ZBCN too.
Not financial
Absolutely.
advice, of course.
Not financial advice.
Hmm.
So XRP Dad, what do you know about ZBCN? I know. So we're Zebec Nation, obviously. We're big. We're all investors in ZBCN. We love the whole crypto community though as a whole, especially utility tokens. That's what we're here about. We're all about utility tokens because those are the ones that we believe will survive when these things happen. There's over 8,000, I think 8,000 tokens out there, but a select few are the ones that were chosen ones. Not just one token's chosen, but I believe there's a handful of them chosen to operate in this new system. And so, like, what do you know about ZBCN, and what would you like to know about ZBCN? Now's your chance to ask any of us.
Well, honestly, I'd never really looked too much into it until I started seeing you guys all pop up, and then I had to go see what the price was, and I seen there is some serious money in it, and I really do believe like we're gonna see some supernatural stuff happen here soon. I don't think they're doing all this stuff for like small numbers. I really don't. Pretty convinced, like, um, in a spiritual sense, I do believe this is like God's wealth transfer, and anybody who invested into this new financial system is gonna be super good. So I definitely interested in buying some of it because that's why I asked you to one day. Because I don't even know what you guys are expecting the price to go to. Like I expect XRP to go to 150 the next jump. You said 50 cents, and yeah, that's hella money. So I'm thinking about it, and the writing's on the wall. There ain't the CEO or whatever doing the headline speaker at XRP Vegas or one of the headliners. So writing's
Yeah.
on the wall. And
Yeah, Simon Babakani is one of the keynote speakers, actually, XRP Las Vegas. He was invited by Brad Kimes, who created XRP Las Vegas. So it's an excellent opportunity for Zebec Network to be in there with the heavy hitters. But then I think as investors in ZBCN, we've kind of grown into being like the underdog in some ways. I get like XRP people for a long time have been the underdogs since, forever.
yeah,
With the case against them and stuff. But I think what it's been with ZBCN is we've always been considered the little brother of XRP, whereas now we're more like, co-workers with them. And we really are in many ways because it's interoperability, obviously, that we're talking about here, systems working together to create a system that works well for institutions and for retail. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I talked about this this week, this prior week on my show, and I wanted, and being that we got such a big time XRP advocate here, I'm gonna give XRP their flowers. I got to give Ripple their flowers because what we're seeing right now, especially with the SEC and everything. Ripple took their lumps for that. They were, they were given a black eye early. And what they've done in 14 years, when I look at Zebec following in their footsteps, people forget that Zebec has really only been around like, what is it, 4 years? I want to say 4 years.
5 years.
And that they've gotten all of these, they're following in the footsteps of XRP by acquiring 4 different companies, but they're doing all of that. If you look at what Ripple's doing, it's similar to what Ripple has done. All of it. And Zebec is doing it in 4 years, but they're able to do that because Ripple has that 14-year history and the things that they've done. So I believe this XRP Vegas and having Simon up there, like for someone like you who may not know a lot about Zebec, I believe what I want from you is, with you being so heavy into XRP and knowing that their ZBCN, the Zebec's CEO, Simon Babakani, is going to be on that stage, what does that send a signal or a message to you when it comes to a token like that?
yeah.
Or a company like that, with them being on that stage, you're like, man, they're sharing the stage with Brad Garland House and all of them. That has to mean something, because I'm trying to get a gauge for what do you feel like that will flow over into the XRP community. Do you think they will be welcoming of a partnership like that? Do you think it will highlight Zebec Network to them and say, oh, who is this Zebec? Who is it? What's this ZBCN? What are they about?
Yeah, I think XRP community is definitely going to be welcoming, and I definitely it definitely rings bells in my head, and I'm I I I believe the price before loss, so I was really hoping to see some XRP price action so I could transfer and just get a boatload of Zebec like that. But it seems like everything's going down in the last minute, and I'm more than satisfied with my XRP bag. So I don't know. I might switch it over right like a day or two before the Vegas just to get ahead of the game.
Yeah, don't buy when it's on its way up, but you know that already.
Yeah, by like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's getting pretty damn close now. So
I think we definitely have some big stuff coming. I think it's important, going back to what we talked about in the beginning of this, is just the struggles and the redemption and how crypto don't care about who you are. Don't ever, no matter what, listen to the stuff on X or social media in general, the FUD, or over leverage yourself, or don't. And this is another one I gotta speak on. Don't over diversify yourself. You got a lot of people out there that got a little bit of every damn thing.
Yeah.
They ain't gonna get no money. Like,
But not much of nothing.
no,
A little of everything, but not much of anything.
exactly. And you hear these people all the time. I got 15 different tokens. Well,
Yeah.
you're gonna be in them a long ass time, dude. Like,
Unless you got $1 million.
yeah, unless you got a
Unless
million.
you
Yeah.
get it out.
It's just a lot
That's
to
a good question.
maintain. It's a lot
That's
to
a good
maintain, you know?
That's a great question too. And I'm gonna throw this out there, like XRP Dad. You have XRP. What do you think is a good amount of XRP to hold? And for everyone else, ZBCN, what do you think is a really? And I know this is not financial advice, but like ZBCN man was saying, you don't want to diversify too much. So, what do you consider is enough?
What, enough of XRP for someone?
Yeah.
To hold till the end of, if I were to tell someone to buy XRP today and hold it to the end of Trump's term, I'd say 1,000.
Okay, that's
1,000, you'll be
doable.
well above good.
That's doable. I like
Okay.
that.
And
I
I think
like
that
that.
puts you in I think that puts you, I mean, that's top 10%, I believe, of XRP holders based off of,
Let's see if it hit $100. It hit if they did
Yeah,
reprice it to 100 or something, you could.
you hit a lick
Yeah.
for sure then.
I'd say try to get on the top 10% list.
Now, what about ZBCN, you guys?
Well,
think $1 million.
ZBCN, I think it depends. Like, you know, there's a couple factors, I guess, but for me, comfortably, I mean, I would be happy at 500,000, $1 million. You know what I'm saying? And it's, you know what I mean? Those numbers are definitely doable, but for what it's going to become, I mean, you know, it can be a big flip. You know what I'm saying? Like, even if you were to have a little bit of ZBCN, right now the numbers are great. So even if you were to pick up like you know, a couple thousand, you know, and do a long term hold, I mean, it's gonna do its thing. We all know where it's gonna go. It's just how long can you hold on for? You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of other guys in the community, obviously, are going to tell you way more, but I mean, that just makes your runway shorter. But I think a comfortable number for me, like I said, like I'd be super happy with $1 million.
Completely
You
agree
know,
on the $1 million number.
like you know, $1 million or better. Like, but $1 million, you can kind of just chill out and. You know, you're not touching it. It's sitting there, and you can, you know, if you want to stake it and get some extra yield on that, you know, go for it. If not, just hold on to it. And, you know, $1 million, if this thing hits a couple dollars, man, it's $2 million,
Okay.
right?
$1 million and
What I
1,000 XRP. I think that's doable for anybody.
Yeah.
what I tell people about this is when you look at how APY works, like we tell people right now, this is a long term hold. This is not a get rich quick type thing. So let's put it this way: if you were to get that $1 million, because I mean realistically, I think everybody should be shooting for at least 1 million ZBCN. I think it's a very attainable goal. If you were to stake that for 1 year, that's an additional 70,000 ZBCN just off the first year alone. Now, if you were to do it even more and more, you start learning about the power of compound interest while you're accumulating your tokens while at the same time waiting for price appreciation. So you could be sitting there in 3 years from now and having an additional 250,000 ZBCN just off your initial $1 million, and you don't have to put anything extra into it. And then when this price really appreciates, like, oh man, you're gonna be sitting pretty.
And I think you need to tack on with that. A lot of people, they'll set back and they'll say, well, 70,000, that's nothing. If you got $1 million, that ain't nothing. But it is if it's 50 cents. It is if it's $1. So yeah, you got to look at that too. Look forward.
And this is
It's
what
whatever you're comfortable with, like investing, you know, like you don't want to overstretch yourself either. You got everyday life, you know? So, I mean, if you can afford to buy more, then you do what you can, but, a comfortable number, like I said, you know, and Devin, I agree, $1 million is probably like the money right there.
I have
And then,
something to
like,
say.
going back into the staking too, like if the the token, like, the price goes up on the token, you're going to get more back on your yield, right? While
It's my
the
turn, Star
takings,
Real. So I finally remember
oh man,
what Star Rail made me forget for rudely interrupting me. So I'm going to rudely interrupt him, and hopefully he forgets what he's going to say.
They're best buds, can't you tell?
And going back to all the way back to the Clarity Act, 25 minutes ago when I was originally supposed to say this, um, I want to say, like, who cares what the Clarity Act passes or not? It didn't even exist on anyone's radar 3 months ago, and people still hit all-time highs before then. So is it good for the market long term? Absolutely. But and will it slow down innovation if a certain party gets into power? Sure. But you cannot stop innovation. Somebody will find a loophole, somebody will get around it, and people will get rich, no matter what, with or without clarity. I do think it's going to pass, but if it doesn't, it's not like a doomsday scenario. We'll just keep on doing what we've been doing for the past couple of years in crypto, and that's fighting.
I got a question for you though.
Wait,
Without
I wanted to hear Star before, and let's make sure Star doesn't forget his.
my bad, my bad.
No, he can forget. I don't care. Mr. Forsyth, tell me, what's your question?
Only question I had is, without clarity, what other super catalyst do we have that's the magnitude of the Clarity Act?
I have honestly no clue, but they'll come up with something. They
AI.
will create AI. They will create something. Oil.
AI.
Who knows?
AI is the driver, I believe. And if you just look at the infrastructure being built, I saw a thing the other day. It's like every single state has multiple AI facilities being built as we speak. Out in Texas,
We have them. Yep.
exactly. Out in Texas, you got I think, is that where Project Stargate is? I believe, along with other massive facilities being built. And I think AI is all part of this whole digital currency system as well. And so I think that's a huge driving force. Now, will it be done by this year? No, but even if another party gets into power and say it changes, the pendulum swings back, which always does. I mean, that's just how politics work. We just get these doomsday scenarios that if this person gets in power, we're all done. Like, the reality is we're all still living in the same situations we've been living in, unless we have made changes in our lives to create the change. Ain't no politicians changing anything for us. We have to create those changes in our own lives, which is by investing in things like that. And that's not a political party. That's just reality.
yeah.
But without clarity, my opinion, AI is. Last week I created a trading bot, which I'm still working on, but it took me a whole day to create something that used to take other guys to write code weeks or months. And I mean, that's the level we're at now. So that's just my opinion on a driving force
No,
potential.
I like that. I like that. That AI would be one big. Yeah.
Go ahead, Star Rail.
Go ahead.
I'm kind of losing my train of thought now.
Yeah.
Oh, you let him win.
Okay.
Victor lost his train of thought.
I'll try and adapt.
Well,
And I wanted to talk a bit more about Zebec's XRP Dad, to think what he thinks of it. I think it's kind of similar to XRP in the early days. But first thing first, I was going to say that the market runs on a narrative. So, like what ZBCN man said, AI is a big narrative as well, and we've seen like Vitenta Tau. I also think privacy is another big narrative. Like Zcash, Dash has been running. It's why I like Canton as well, because it's the first public blockchain with a privacy feature, and we know with Zebec as well that they are partnering with a lot of privacy protocols, because institutions like that privacy. Because if you think of payroll, if XRP Dad, if you don't know that, Zebec's main use case is stablecoin payroll. So, like, say for example, this podcast, like, you're getting paid like afterwards. The second this is over, you will get paid, right? That's the use case of ZBCN. And I know XRP's main use case is cross-border payments and using XRP for on-demand liquidity, right, for instant settlement. But there's a lot of similarities, right, because I've seen a lot. I don't think I'm a proper expert by any means, but like, I'll just name some examples, right? I was in like XRP, I was in Stellar, I was in HBAR, I was in Zilliqa, Tezos, Gala Games, Sandbox, Decentraland, and like Polkadot. Like you look at the charts now, right? You see they had a run, like a first run, and then the chart's like pretty much flat, and they never run again, right? And usually coins that have never experienced a bull run always outperform. Well, the new coins always outperform the old coins. Like usually they have one run and then they can never break again. But 90% of them never reach an all-time high in their second run. And I was like, I don't think XRP counts because like XRP had the suppression of the SEC at the time. But with a lot of people say that. I think because a lot of my viewers as well, and Mr. Foresight, and just in general, a lot of the crypto audience is like boomers and Gen X, like the older audience, and some of them were around when some of them were around in 2017 and saw XRP at the price of Zebec right now, and saw it run to like $3, $3. I think that was over 100x. But that's kind of like the thing that they see with Zebec. They think that Zebec is going through something similar. They've also got good ties with Uphold as well. I think Uphold's like a top 10 wallet of XRP, and I think for Zebec they're the number one wallet. I think they hold over 100 billion. 100 million worth of ZBCN. Also, a lot of things about regulation. The thing that XRP lacked at the time was because they got sued, but Zebec have kind of like learned from Ripple and got like a lot of the regulatory clarity afterwards, like the ISO 2022 compliant. I'm sure you've heard of that.
Yeah.
SOC 2 micro compliant. That's like America, European, and they're getting their FCA approval, which is like the UK. But their main use case is payroll, which is worth in the US $11 trillion a year, and I think like the global payroll is like 40 to 50 trillion, right? But that's not their main use case, right? That's their main use case, sorry, but I don't know if you've seen like news that they are now in partners with Stellar Network, which does kind of similar to XRP, but more like global remittance for like sending money to family and friends around the world. Like you hear stuff like Stellar, they're also in ties with like a bit on the Canton network side. Like they're partnered with a company called Lattice Finance, which has like the first debit MasterCard, first neobank on the Canton network. And there's been lots of talks about a Ripple XRP partnership as well. That's why we've got XRPL Vegas. And I'm not sure what made the first massive pump of Zebec, but I'm pretty sure it was something to do with an XRP partnership. But I don't know if that kind of like gives you a bit more optimism. Do you kind of, I guess it's kind of a question. Do you see that with the things that I'm talking about? Do you think like Zebec could have kind of a similar run to XRP? Because XRP used to be at the price at Zebec now. But
Yeah,
that's
I definitely believe it could, especially since it's like tied in with Stellar, and I that I see that it's has a lot to do with AI too. That's what I noticed in some of my research. So I believe anything connected with AI or like the quantum stuff in the future. I believe those are going to be big money makers. But yeah, I think Zebec's going to be a big thing here soon.
It
You guys
definitely
are like
is.
the early birds, I think.
Oh yeah, we definitely are. And if you look at the way it's built, your Stellars or your Ripples or you name it, Algorand or whatever, the one thing that they've needed is streaming payments. They do, I mean, the old system is batch payments as it is with Swift. XRP is liquidity for Ripple. Like that's how you have cross-border payments through XRP. They settle in stable coins wherever they go to, regardless. But what Zebec does different than anyone else is streaming payments. And so they can stream, if you set up the AI to stream out $5 a second or $5 a minute, Zebec Network has that ability to do that. And that's what sets them apart. And that's why all of these companies, great in their own right, your Stellars, your Ripples, on and on, need Zebec Network to come on with them so they can solve that other problem that they have.
So you said it does have legal clarity?
I'm sorry?
Zebec, does it have legal clarity? You said?
Oh yeah. I mean, the company, so no coins are ISO compliant. The companies are ISO compliant, and that's just bank talk, right? That's just messaging between banks. But like as far as StarRail was talking about, they're ISO compliant. They'll soon be FCA, which is it's a UK thing. MiCA compliance, which is a European thing, as like the European Union. And then you know, on and on. They're not.
They bought a whole company for compliance, Gatenox. So
Gatenox.
that was like they focused on compliance first, and then once they got compliance out of the way, then they started pumping out all this news about partnerships. So probably they did learn from Ripple and knock that stuff out of the way first before they got bad publicity, and then now they can just focus on the fun stuff.
Yeah. Win. All we do is win.
This will be quick. Sorry. Another big difference. Sorry, XRP Dad, is with the tokenomics, right? We know that XRP's got like the monthly escrow unlocks. Yes, we know Ripple needs the XRP for the on-demand liquidity, but ZBCN is 100% in circulation because it used to have monthly unlocks, but now it's finished. So like it's a very rare token that has 100% of the circulating supply, and they have they sell Zebec cards as well, and they do like monthly buybacks. I don't know when was the last one, but like they've done over 200 million purchases of ZBCN, and like every month, like when people sell the cards, they do a token buyback of ZBCN. So it's like burning, buying the tokens and moving them from circulation. So if you didn't know that, that's like the thing with Zebec. Like it's 100% in circulation. They have the deflationary aspect as well. And another thing I wanted to add, that when they're streaming payroll as well, they need ZBCN for the fees. Okay, so for example, right, like World Liberty Financial, I know they've got a bit of controversy right now, but like USD1, right? If a company wants to pay you in USD1, like a dollar, pegged to the dollar, backed by short-term treasuries, like the same with RLUSD, right? The company needs to buy USD1 in a vault, right? We have this thing called the Super app, and then when they stream that money to the employee, they also need to have a vault of ZBCN as well, right? But so it's paying for that fee, it's paying for that transfer, but like every time you use the streaming payroll, it reduces the fees of ZBCN. So you can kind of see like the token utility. It's 100% circulation. You get the token buybacks and like using that token for streaming fees. So like ZBCN is being used. So I don't know if that's like, like gives you a bit of that opening like your eyes a bit more.
It's the fuel. ZBCN is the fuel.
It's the fuel, yes.
StarRail, I was still waiting to hear what your prediction of what you think is a good number everybody should shoot for with ZBCN.
I think everyone should have a target, right? In one of my videos, I said 1 million is a good target, but I think crypto is, you got to have dry powder at all times, right? Because I feel like there's never enough you can buy. And I like this quote as well. Be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. So, like back to when I first started crypto, like I was DCAing XRP. I've been DCAing other coins like Casper, Bitensa as well. I would DCA every single week. I would have a target, let's just say like 10,000 XRP at the time. When I got to 10,000 XRP, I was like, well, it's still cheap and I still believe in the vision. All right, I'm going to accumulate for the entire year because what are you going to do with that cash? All right, inflation's going up, the dollar is weakening, every currency is weakening. The bank, loans out your money and earns like 9 to 10x the amount. Like what are you going to do with that money? You could save it and actually lose money, or you could I guess you could invest it in like stocks and gold if that's your thing as well. But I think that, with crypto, with the way I think it's going to go, with like the ETFs and the tokenization, it's slowly going to probably turn to the stock market. I think having a target is great if that's like you're happy, like say like you want 1 million, cool. But I think you're going to take opportunities of the dips because there's always going to be like a liquidation event. And I think, you should just keep stacking because then when it pumps again, you're getting more out of it and you're taking advantage. And then once you had a bit more, you could probably take a bit of profits and you're getting a bit more. So I think having a target is great. And obviously when you have that target, you got to respect it. Crypto is very risky. You could lose 100% of it. From my experience, I've been liquidated. I'm sure Mr. Forsyth has been through a lot as well. And whoever's been in crypto, you go through ups and downs. But I think that's the key thing is just have dry powder at all times. Right? I have dry powder. I'm prepared to keep buying until the end of the year. I'm going to see where Bitcoin goes. Who knows where it goes, but I'm going to still stack. Okay, so I had targets of ZBCN, for example, and I've been buying way more than I should have because I believe in the vision and I just think you should just get every opportunity you can. Okay, I'll stop waffling now.
Never enough.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
It's
Go
never
ahead.
enough.
It's never enough.
Yeah, that's the short answer.
What Heavy say? Heavy says shorter runway. The more you have, shorter runway, right? I mean,
Yeah.
just keep stacking in anything, whatever you have conviction in, as long as it has utility. I mean, not financial advice, but as long as it has utility, a use case, keep stacking all you can, man. It kind of leads me to my question. Another question I have for you, XRP Dad. After all the dust settles, after clarity's done, after all these things are in place, after price appreciation happens for crypto, what's your end game? What is it you want to change about your life that you're currently in to make it better for you and those around you?
I honestly, I think XRP is what's gonna save my family because I need a fresh start out of this town. I've been in this town for 36 years, and it's a small town where everybody knows each other's business. And now I'm known as the XRP guy and the guy who knows about all this shit. So whenever it initially first happens, I just want to plan get an Airbnb for let's hypothetically say it hits 1,000 because that's what I'm envisioning right now. That's my vision. It's going to 1,000 by July. I would get an Airbnb down in Florida for probably 6 months and just soak in the wind and let my woman see this is actually real. Because right now she just I don't think she believes it, or I don't know. I do. I know what's happening. No one's gonna believe anything they don't understand.
People around you never, people around you never, especially family, when it comes to the things that we expect from crypto, I never expect, and I had to stop putting this expectation on different people in your circle. They don't, they never see the vision that you see, but when it comes,
They see it.
Man.
Once it happens,
Oh
then
yeah.
they're like, man,
Got
where
the
can I
hands
get
up.
in? So
Got
you
the-
keep believing, XRP Dad. You keep believing, keep having your conviction, because it's that conviction which is going to ultimately transform your family's life. Just keep doing your research, keep doing all of that. Take it from me, dude. It's your vision that's going to change all those generational curses, going to break everything, all those negative cycles, and people going to see you in a whole new light. And just
Yeah.
have a plan for what you're going to do when you get it, because there's no going back.
Yeah, my boss, he must be like creeping on the lives, creeping on my videos, and he's like, you're gonna make a lot of people, you're gonna get a lot of hate if you lead these people the wrong way. I was like, no, I think I'm gonna see a lot of regret here really soon because people just didn't listen around here.
Now, you know what? It's interesting about what he told you. What did he tell you? He says that if it doesn't go the right way, you're going to get a lot of hate. Do you know that? That to me, that's everything that I'm always talking about. Why is it so easy for people to they rather have doubt and say, well, it's not
Told you
going to
so.
happen. It never happens to me, rather than have the faith that it's going to happen. Guess what? You know what you should have told him? You should have told him, if it doesn't happen, guess what? We're going to move on to something else until it happens.
The next
I
part
hate
on that
fear.
is you simply say, man, I go back to the life I'm already at right now.
There you go.
You
There
look at,
you go.
okay, let's weigh out the options right now.
Hey,
This
guess what?
could change my life, or I could just continue to live the same life I'm at right now. What
Hey,
are the odds? What do I have to lose?
we can walk outside tomorrow
Exactly.
and get hit by a bus. Does that mean that we're going to not walk outside? You're just going to stay a recluse? This is what I'm talking about. This is why everybody's not meant to make it to that next level, because everybody doesn't have the foresight, but they don't have the self-belief in themselves. They don't have the belief in themselves to take that chance. And I got to commend you and give you your flowers for, especially with all the stuff you done been through. I got to give you your flowers for having that belief in yourself to say, you know what, I'm putting my family on my back and this is where we're going. I got to give you that. Because
Thanks.
so many people don't have that. And when that negative people like your boss come along and say something like that, you say, you know what? Guess what? You're not going to be my boss that much longer, no way.
It's
Yeah.
one thing that I've had to learn is to not take advice from people who are either less successful than me or are not living the life that I want to live.
I like
Don't
Once
take advice from.
I started incorporating that, it changed my mindset and everything. You start noticing how people will talk and say whatever, and then the first thing that goes through my head now is, if they're not in one of those two scenarios, like, if it's so easy to give this advice, why aren't you doing it yourself? Because if you were, you would be in a better position. That's what goes on in my head now.
And if you ain't been where I'm trying to go, you really can't talk to me.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Heavy. You got something?
It's always easier to say, it's always easier to say it, but you got to step up to the plate and do it, right? It's always easier to say something, but a lot of these people, like, they're just talking, they're not doing. Like, if it's that easy, do it, right?
Yeah.
Just saying.
I'm pretty glad that nobody believed in me.
Yeah, and it just makes it's going to make success that much better. When you're just able to, everything that you've been through, and and you get to the top, man, and you're just like,
Always appreciate
you know what I'm
the
saying?
haters. Appreciate the haters.
Absolutely.
Appreciate
They put gas on the fire for me. I don't say much. I just I just take it for what it is, and I'm like, all right, I'll see you at the top. And that's just, you gotta, be humble, and it's all gonna work out. It's all about what you believe in and how much you believe in it, and what you put in is what you're gonna get out of it.
And who you surround yourself with.
Exactly, and that's the most
That's what
important
we're
part, ZB. Who you surround yourself with is that's the most important thing.
Yep.
Because you're gonna have those good days, obviously, and then you're obviously gonna have those bad days, and you gotta have a good support system around you that, like, you know what I'm saying, like to keep you up, because it's hard to, you know, it's tough to stay positive, man, when a lot of things around you are negative, man. I'm going through it myself right now, and you know, it's tough, man. But when you got, you know, good people around you that can support you and, you know, are there for you, it's a lot easier to navigate this mission that we're all on here. So
You know, I tripped you up, XRP Dad, a little while ago when I asked you that question to tell me something about yourself that might surprise me. I'm going to switch that. I'm curious on what motivates you when the markets are down and everything is just not where you want it to be. What motivates you to keep going in crypto?
The low price. I just know what I know, and I'm just so confident on this financial system and the fact that Ripple, I mean, you got to separate. You can look at the conspiracies and you can look at the facts. And the conspiracy theory is that XRP is going to hit 10K, but the facts are that it's going after the whole banking system. So I just I look at that and I just believe they're going to really pump it. And then the fact that it was like in the Epstein files that, like, Epstein, like, basically made Gary Gensler put that lawsuit on him. It just makes me really think they're gonna pump it to the moon.
Yeah, I think kind of tying in what you're saying here, and what I would go back to, one, your conviction you have just because you believe in a project. But, and I can speak, and I know I can speak for me on this, but overcoming obstacles really sets you up to be a great investor. Because when you've been through so many tragedies in your life, whatever they may be, and everyone's tragedies are on a different level, right? We can't compare tragedies. They're just tragedies because one person's tragedy may not be another one's tragedy. But when it's all said and done, and I found this a lot in crypto, is that a lot of the people come from backgrounds that were tough. And it really helps us to grow that thick skin. And you know what's crazy is, like, I didn't grow up learning how to invest, but I've become a good investor just because of what I learned, what I didn't learn, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
And it's helped me to practice a lot more patience. And I'm not gonna say, like, early on, I was a damn wreck, man. Like, I would let it affect my day whenever prices would go down. But, like, I'm past that point now. And I think what it is we've become so used to it now because I've been in it for well over a year and a half. But again, I think the things we go through in life build us up as people, build us up as investors, build us up as leaders, business owners, whatever they may be. Those things are what build us up into the person that we are today. And I wrote this, and I just want to say this because I typed this out earlier, and I don't want to miss this because I quoted that Winston Churchill quote, but I just want to say, like, failure isn't fatal when you have the courage to continue. In crypto and in life, redeem setbacks by staying motivated on real impact, blocking distractions, playing the long game, and managing the risk wisely. Plant your trees today is what I said. And I think that's important for every single person to remember. No matter what you've gone through in your life, you're never too far down to come back up again, especially when you have the drive to do it and you have the will to get it done.
Yeah, I just wanted to say to anybody watching, just the light is at the end of the tunnel. Don't rush God's timing. It's all gonna work out for all of us. And I truly believe, like, God got us all scattered separately to wake everybody else surrounding us up. So, and I appreciate the opportunity to coming on and with all you guys. And I'm down to do it again if you guys ever want to.
Appreciate that,
Po-
man.
po- Post millionaires.
Post millionaire status.
yeah,
You're
pretty
Yeah.
rich.
gonna join us on the pirate ship.
Yeah. But that you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, man, the pirate ship. It's gonna be on my
Yeah.
farm. That's my goal.
Oh, yeah. Let's go.
So, very interesting spaces today. There's a
Yeah.
lot of spaces, a lot of interesting ones. Um, Yeah, James Rule had a good space today.
Yeah, we were on there earlier. For those that may not have heard or were in there with us, me and 314 was in there as well with Zebec Samurai. I'm sorry. I was about to say Crypto Star Rail. He was not there because he can't get on X because
Crypto
he's been
Samurai.
suspended. He's a foul mouthed boy. Apparently, I don't know. Too much tagging. Who knows? I just want to say this real quick. 2X. Why give a person the ability to hashtag or @ if you hold it against them? I want to make that make sense to me. That's my question for you. Now I'm going to get banned. Yeah, back to the spaces. James Rule XRP was on there. Shout out to James Rule. He started following 314 and Zebec Samurai today as well. He's a huge XRP guy. I'm sure XRP Dad, you know about James Rule XRP. He'll be out at XRP Vegas as well. We'll get a chance to meet him there. There's like just a huge amount of Zebec Nation people that are going to XRP Las Vegas, which is amazing for the community. I believe we are the voice for this community, and we're going to keep building on that. And there's going to be cool stuff happening. I'll be out there. Samurai is going to be out there as well as 314. Crypto will be there. CNG from the Discord. This is a plug for the Discord as well. Go join that Discord. I posted it earlier. Zach's
At
doing a
Zebec
great
Nation. At Zebec Nation.
Yeah. Zach, Captain Zach is doing a great job running that Discord. It's close to 700 members now, which is phenomenal. XRP Dad, you're also welcome to join that Discord, man. It's not just for ZBCN holders. It's for everybody, even Canton holders like Mr. Foresight and Crypto Star Rail. Yeah, it was phenomenal being a part of that. And basically, we got to take over that space today and let them know all about ZBCN. And 314 did a phenomenal job to the point where James Rule actually invited 314 onto his podcast. And so that's just another door that's been opened for this community to cross those, bring those bridges together and tie us all together. And then James will also be coming onto our podcast. And then kind of piggybacking off of being on podcast, we are going to be a part of, first of all, shout out to Dipito. Dipito Show is on X. Go follow them there. It's Melissa. She'll be out in XRP Las Vegas as well. And you can check them out from 8 to 10 Eastern time. This week, it's going to be Faces of Crypto. So catch them, please, from 8 to 10 Eastern time, followed by the After Dark space at 10:10 on X. They'll be doing that. And she also has a show called The Digital Ladies Unscripted as well. That's on YouTube. We'll be putting all those links below as well. Also, I want to plug a couple things real quick. I want to plug my guys, Crypto Star Rail. Don't forget to go check out his YouTube channel. You can catch him there. You can't get him on X anymore. We're going to fight for him though. But go support this man. Go get him some more followers. Leave a whole lot of lovey comments on there because he loves that stuff.
Get a haircut.
Get a haircut. And he did. So that's what happened last week. All these people said, get a haircut. And then he got a haircut. You look great though, man. And also, I want to plug
what he used to look like.
I want to plug growrichgrowhappy.com. That's Mr. Foresight. You can catch him on growrichgrowhappy.com. Overcoming Self for Crypto Wealth. Phenomenal book. And I read this book, and I firmly believe in passing things along in knowledge. So XRP Dad, this book right here is going to be coming to you. I'm just going to buy another one, Mr. Foresight, but I'm going to gift this one to XRP Dad. Nice. I think it's a great book, and I think we should pass knowledge along.
Quick read.
It's a quick read. It's a great book. And you learn so much about yourself in that book, overcoming things. And it's kind of along the lines of what we're talking about tonight.
Man, can you talk about how you met XRP Dad?
How I met XRP Dad. XRP Dad.
What's up?
How did I meet you?
Just checked out my ex and seen my clips, and he hollered at me. Made me feel special, man.
You are special, man.
Asked me if I was interested in this podcast, and I definitely was.
Yeah, man.
I didn't even know if people were seeing my content at all.
Yeah, we see you out there, man. And I think it was when Kenny gave you a shout out, and he said, go follow this guy, because Kenny was following me. And he said, give this guy a shout out. And then I was on your page, and I saw one of your streams. I love this post that you made there, XRP Clarity Act and XRP investors. But like, seeing your story with your lives spoke to me, and I thought it was a great opportunity for this podcast to really show the human side of what we all deal with, what we overcome. And we could get on here every week and talk about numbers, but we don't want to lose sight of the most important thing, and that's people. Anything else? Any last things I need to cover before we go?
Yeah.
Go make sure we're going to have a new show this week. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. We're going to have a new show starting this week. It's going to be called Loot and Liquidity, and that's Zebec Samurai show. It's going to be starting up. We're actually going to be recording us playing some Call of Duty Warzone, I believe. And we're going to talk about crypto while we're playing Call of Duty. It's a whole new thing. It's a whole new concept, and we think it's going to go over well.
Nobody's doing it.
Nobody's doing it. So
Huh.
that's going to be coming up.
That's cool.
That'll be coming either before this show or after the show, but you'll see it because it'll post. And then also pretty soon, we're going to have that sports-related show coming from Zebec United called Coin Toss. And what should we expecting to see out of that one?
So we're going to be highlighting the major sports events going on from whatever is going on around the time frame when it will be. I'm actually anticipating right now, leaning towards probably the biggest sporting event in the world and giving a nice in-depth preview of what's going to happen with the World Cup this year here in the US. And I'll give you a teaser right now. I think France is going to win it, but I'm going to give a whole preview on it as well. So we'll see. I'm sorry, Star Rail, but France's team is stacked.
Frenchie's gonna win.
It's sorry for Star Rail, but I'll give a little teaser right now. It just seems that the Brits can have great names on paper, but when it comes together to gelling as a team, they have not been so successful at it.
He has nothing to say to that. Okay. So with that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment below, and please share. Go follow all these phenomenal people on X and YouTube. And until next time, Zebec Nation, out.
Turn it up. Zebec Nation.
Zebec Nation, tap in, lock in. I'm on deck.